How's it going, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of the Mavs Step Back Podcast. I'm your host, Dalton Trigg. I am by myself today. I just wanted to come on here and give you guys a quick recap and just run through everything that happened during the Mavs' first loss of the season against the Denver Nuggets. I can't say I'm surprised by this. If you listen to the podcast regularly, over these last two, I've stated that I was penciling in that game as a loss. And sure enough, it was. I mean, it was just tough circumstances all the way around. The Mavs were facing a team that had won a championship last year, first of all. Secondly, coming off Denver's first loss of the season on Wednesday, they got blown out by the Minnesota Timberwolves. So they had a little bit of extra motivation. And then thirdly, they were playing in Denver, which is already tough in and of itself. So you factor in all those different things, and then the fact that they were getting Kyrie Irving back for the first time in a few games, and I mean, it just wasn't meant to be. And I'm actually surprised it ended up being closer than what it was. The final score was 125 to 114. The Mavs were down by as many as 20 in that second half, and they clawed back to within. I think the closest they got was 8 with about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, but they just couldn't pull it off because mainly because Nikola Jokic is just incredible. I tweeted it out last night. That is the best player in basketball right now. And that's not a dig at Luka or anybody else trying to go for that crown, Giannis. But I mean, Jokic is just impossible to stop. He was when he is focused and on his game, it's just an unreal experience watching him. Last night he had 33 points and he was 14 of 16 from the field. It was a welcome to the league moment for Mavs rookie Derek Lively II, who got his fourth consecutive start for this season. Lively only had 4 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block in 25 minutes of play. So really, really tough the toughest assignment yet for Lively. And we've talked about it over the last several episodes and during the summer. He's got the basketball IQ, he's got the physical attributes. He's got everything you need to be a great center in this league. But the thing that he's lacking, and it's just going to take time to build up to that point, is time in an NBA weight room. And you saw it last night. He just wasn't big enough to. You're never going to stop Jokic, but if you're strong enough and you're long enough, you can at least try to deter him a little bit. Enough to where it's not, he's going 14 of 16 from the field. So, it was a welcome to the league moment for Lively, but that's okay. I mean, look, that's nothing that he should be ashamed of. We talked about this, or I wrote about this on DallasBasketball.com and posted it this morning. Be sure to go check it out. But the Mavs got a championship learning experience. They got to take their 4-0 record on the road against the defending champs, and it was a good measuring stick for just how much further they have to go if they're gonna eventually become a title team themselves. And I mean, it's gonna be tough. I mean, the Nuggets are huge across the board. It's not just Jokic. It's Michael Porter Jr. had 8 or 9 rebounds, and Aaron Gordon had eight to 9 rebounds. I mean, they killed the Mavs on the glass, and it wasn't just Jokic. Jokic had the most rebounds out of anybody on the team with 14, but I mean, overall, the Mavs got out rebounded 51 to 34. So it was just a massacre there. They got outscored, I believe it was 68 to 40 in the paint. So I mean, look, you're not going to win very many games when you're doing that. Now, the Mavs, they still shot well from three. That was about 46% from three, 47% overall. So they had a good shooting night, but the rebounding was awful. Denver, even if they got stops against the Nuggets, they weren't able to secure the defensive rebound, and that gave up so many second chance points for the Nuggets. And then turnovers. They caused a lot of turnovers for Denver, but they had some turnovers themselves, so it kind of evened out in that department. So rebounding was the biggest story of this one, and again, I mean, it was almost an impossible situation. I'm an optimistic person by nature. Like I have a lot of optimism for this team in general this season. They've shown a lot of promise. I think they're going to be really good. I think it's a no doubter they're going to end up making the playoffs, health permitting. But, last night just felt like it was going to be a loss given all the circumstances. And that's okay. I mean, you're going to have it's an 82 game season. The Mavs were never going 82-0, but it would have felt great. But it just is what it is. Lively, he got a really good learning experience. We got some more good minutes from Jaden Hardy. He played 14 minutes and hit some big buckets in the fourth quarter to try and lead a Mavs comeback. So that was great to see. Luka, he had a great game. Kyrie, he came back and scored 22 points and had four steals in that game and two blocks. So I mean, he was engaged defensively. It was great to see. It was just a matter of the Mavs being too small. I mean, that's just what it came down to. It's a team game, it's a team effort all around, but that's the one area where it cost the Mavs their first loss of the season, and that's fine. I mean, it's gonna happen. There's gonna be matchups like that throughout the. I could see the Mavs, uh, having some issues against a team like Philadelphia later on this season, and teams like Phoenix and Golden State, I think will fare pretty well against teams like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not. I mean, look, I obviously wanted the Mavs to win, but I'm not down on them losing this game to the Nuggets. It's we're watching it. We're moving on to the Charlotte Hornets, where the Mavs should be able to take care of business there, and then hopefully they can get to 5-1 and just keep this thing rolling through the first part of this schedule. So good stuff from the Mavs despite the loss. Still encouraged. They got a good ways to go. They probably need to make a trade to, bolster their big man depth. So you're not having, because Maxi Kleba, he was out in that game last night. So that didn't get, that took away an option for them to match up with size a little bit. But, he wasn't there. And then you had to throw Powell in there. And then you got Rashawn Holmes, who couldn't even get any minutes in a game that was a blowout at one point. So I don't know. I mean, I think they probably have to make a trade to address that big man depth at some point. Not saying to take Lively out of a starting position, but you need to bolster it behind him, and maybe at the four spot as well behind off the bench just to make sure you have enough there, enough horses in the stable, so to speak, to try and match up with a team like Denver, which is almost impossible to do. But I don't know if they can do it with the current guys they have off the bench right now. So, guys, I appreciate it. Thanks for joining me for this quick recap pod. There will be much more coming throughout this season, and then to start the week, I will be back with my guy Drew Johnson to give a recap of the Hornets game. And we're going to talk about some other stuff going on in the NBA, including some trade rumors that should be, they're not directly linked to the Mavs, but they could be. So we'll see you next time. Y'all have a good one.